Good morning, Royce here. I just wanted to take a moment to talk about Ryzen and why I think it's so important. There's two main reasons, to be honest. The first and obvious one is competition. There hasn't been real competition in the CPU industry for nearly a decade. Intel's kind of dominated. In that time, there hasn't been a lot of movement in the CPU industry. Processors that are 5-6 years old are still totally viable for use in a lot of modern games and applications today. I don't think this is a coincidence. Intel has a massive R&D budget, but we've only seen iterative improvements over the past several years. Why is this? It's mainly because AMD hasn't been competing. Intel has, and still is, even with Ryzen right around the corner, been operating on the assumption that AMD just isn't going to bring real competition. If Ryzen has a strong launch and reviewers can confirm AMD's claims, and people start actually buying it, Intel will finally be forced to do something about it. It doesn't matter if you're an Intel fanboy or an AMD fanboy or somewhere in between. This is going to benefit you. You're going to get better product at lower prices due to competition. It's a win-win for everybody. Another reason that I think Ryzen is really important is the change that it could have on the tech industry in general, particularly to do with software developers and how they develop their products. Since the first quad-core processor was introduced in about 2006 to, admittedly, the enthusiasts at the time, 4 cores or modules or 4 threads has been present in nearly every single mainstream processor for the past several years, and it hasn't been going anywhere. There's this whole chicken and egg issue going on where the consumers don't want to buy more than 4 cores because most software doesn't need it, but most developers aren't going to develop for more than 4 cores because consumers don't have more than 4 cores. AMD is taking that first step and trying to introduce more than 4 cores, 6, 8 cores with up to 12 and 16 threads to the mainstream in the hopes that people will actually get these more cores. And once those cores and threads are in the hands of the consumers, the developers are likely to follow and will start to get software that uses these threads. Wait, this sounds familiar, doesn't it? In 2012, AMD brought the Bulldozer architecture, which came with unprecedented multi-threaded performance at a low price. Performance that even now, 5 years later, still far outshines Intel's competition at the same price range. So what went wrong there? What went wrong was that AMD forgot about the single and quad-core performance and expected the entire world to follow suit with the strong multi-threaded performance. That's not what happened. The problem with Bulldozer is that the single-core performance was actually quite terrible, and the quad-core performance suffered as a result. Even something like a Pentium with strong single and 4-thread performance makes a lot more sense to a lot of people to buy over the Bulldozer and its successors because that's what programs use. In order to bring more cores and more threads to the masses, they need to do it in such a way that doesn't sacrifice that single and quad-core performance. That's what Ryzen is trying to do with its SMT, which is basically what hyperthreading is. They're trying to do the same thing as Intel, which is good, except more, which is how we see change. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you thought I deserved it, give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and if there's anything you want to know my thoughts on, give me a comment down below and I will try to respond to it and maybe make a video on it. So, take care.